In the world of reality television and conservative values, few families have been as closely watched or as deeply judged as the Duggars. Known for their enormous family, traditional beliefs, and strict rules, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar have often been the center of both admiration and controversy. But recently, a moment between the couple, something small, tender, and surprisingly intimate, left fans emotional, reflective, and in many ways, heartbroken. This is the story behind Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's rare kiss, a gesture that spoke volumes about love, time, and the fragility of what remains after decades of trials and loss. A moment no one expected. It happened during a quiet Sunday afternoon. The Duggar family had gathered for a small family get-together, celebrating their long marriage and the growing number of grandchildren now running around their once bustling home. As the family chatted and laughed, someone captured a fleeting moment, Jim Bob leaning over and gently kissing Michelle on the forehead. There were no cameras rolling for TLC, no staged lighting, no interviews. Just a husband and wife, now grandparents, many times over, showing a glimpse of affection that felt rare and real. When the photo surfaced online, fans were stunned. Some smiled with nostalgia, others commented that it felt bittersweet, like watching a memory from a past era of their lives. But beneath the surface, there was something undeniably emotional about it. A kiss filled with memories. For those who have followed the Duggars since 19 Kids and Counting, this wasn't just a kiss. It was a moment loaded with decades of history. It carried the memories of a young couple who once dreamed of a big family, who faced financial struggles, heartbreaks, and public scandals. It held the weight of every baby born, every tear shed, and every challenge weathered. Fans recalled how, years ago, Michelle often spoke about keeping romance alive, even with a house full of children. She'd laugh about scheduling date nights and leaving little notes for Jim Bob. But as the years passed, the sparkle of their early romance seemed to fade into the background of family chaos, public pressure, and personal sorrow. Now, that kiss, simple and wordless, felt like the final whisper of something sacred. The scars of scandal and silence. No story about the Duggars is complete without acknowledging the shadows that followed them. The family's reputation suffered after a series of public scandals, from financial controversies to the devastating revelations surrounding their eldest son, Josh. Through it all, Jim Bob and Michelle maintained their composure, often appearing united. But insiders have quietly admitted that the emotional toll was immense. They've gone through seasons of heartbreak that most people can't imagine, one family friend reportedly said. They leaned on their faith, but they also had moments when they just didn't know how to hold it all together. Michelle, who once seemed endlessly cheerful, began appearing more subdued. Her soft smiles carried a hint of sadness, her eyes a quiet reflection of loss, especially after their show was canceled and their family's once bright image faded from the spotlight. And through all that pain, perhaps this small kiss symbolized what remained when everything else was stripped away. Two people who, despite the noise, still found comfort in each other's presence. A testament to enduring love. To the public, Jim Bob and Michelle often appeared as figures of faith and discipline. But to their children, they were also parents who laughed, prayed, and argued just like anyone else. In recent years, with many of their children grown and living their own lives, the Duggar household has become noticeably quieter. The walls that once echoed with the sounds of laughter and tiny footsteps now stand as silent witnesses to time's passage. That rare kiss between them seemed to capture everything: the years, the loss, the survival, the change. For many fans, it was a reminder that even those who seem unshakable endure private storms. That love, when real, isn't about perfection or public smiles. It's about holding on when the world feels heavy and fractured. Fans react with emotion. When the image of Jim Bob and Michelle's kiss began circulating online, the reaction was overwhelming. Some fans commented, Seeing them still together after everything, they've been through so much. It's heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time. Another wrote, "That kiss says everything words can't. Decades of love, pain, forgiveness, it's all there." Others noted that the image felt symbolic, an unspoken message of endurance, even as the Duggar family faces ongoing scrutiny and personal divisions. Michelle's private pain. In recent years, Michelle has spoken softly about the emotional battles of motherhood and grief. Losing her grandmother, facing estrangement from some children, and enduring public criticism have all taken their toll. In one of her rare online reflections, she wrote, "We can't control what happens to us, but we can choose how to love through it, and love is always worth it." Those words, paired with the image of her husband's gentle kiss, felt like a message to the world, and maybe even to her own family, that love, no matter how battered, still survives. Behind her serene expression lies a woman who has borne the weight of motherhood, fame, and judgment. That kiss wasn't just affection, it was healing. Holding on through faith. Faith has always been the foundation of Jim Bob and Michelle's lives. Even when the public turned its gaze away, their devotion to prayer and scripture never wavered. During family gatherings, Michelle often leads soft hymns, her voice trembling with emotion. Jim Bob sits beside her, his hands clasped tightly, and silent prayer. It's not showmanship anymore. It's sincerity, born of survival. For the couple, faith became less about public preaching and more about private resilience. That rare kiss, so simple yet so symbolic, wasn't just a gesture of love. It was a reflection of grace, forgiveness, and enduring belief. The legacy of love and loss. Today, as their children continue to grow, marry, and raise their own families of their own, Jim Bob and Michelle are stepping into a quieter chapter of life. Their story is far from perfect. It's filled with both light and shadow. But perhaps in that brief moment lies a powerful truth. Love that survives through hardship is the most beautiful kind. That image, a brief moment frozen in time, spoke louder than any sermon or speech. It reminded everyone watching that behind the headlines, behind the controversies and fame, there are two human beings who have simply loved each other through it all. Final reflections. "Big sad news," the headline said. But maybe it's not just sad. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's a reflection of what love looks like after decades. Fragile, imperfect, yet still holding on. Jim Bob and Michelle's rare kiss wasn't just an affectionate gesture. It was a quiet goodbye to their old selves, a soft nod to everything they've endured. It made fans cry because it was honest. It reminded everyone watching that life, even when filled with mistakes and sorrow, can still hold moments of pure tenderness. And as the sun set over their Arkansas home, that single kiss became more than a photo. It became a story of love that, despite everything, refused to fade.